up, you guys? So, it is Comic-Con Africa day number 3, and I am doing something very, very clandestine. I have managed to hijack Tom Hopper, right? And we are having a chat with him about some of the hot topics, things that we weren't able to ask before, and now we'll be able to do exactly that. Now, I managed to find a secret hidden space here in the studio, and there's a reason why lighting on my side is as dim as it is, but that's because I'm undercover. Shh, don't tell anyone. Okay, so we're going to get Tom Hopper on the line right now. Tom, are you there? Can you hear me?
I'm here. I'm in the same room I was in the other day. Is that secret enough?
Well, I mean, nobody knows exactly where that is, so I think we'll go with it.
So it's probably okay.
Tom.
As long as you're in a secret room.
No, we had a... Okay, yeah, no, I'm here. Nobody can find me. Shh, don't tell them, right? Okay, real talk right now, Tom. Fans want to know, they need an undertaking from you. You said it the other day online. Will you come and visit us at some point if you were called to do so?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, absolutely. It would, I would be there in a shot. Yeah, this whole year, this COVID situation, you know, it's a shame because it's taken away one of the things I love to do, which is travel and see places. And South Africa was one of my places on the list of to-dos this year. So it was a shame that was all taken away from all of us. But, you know, there's a lot of positives this year as well. We just got to find them, you know, in each of our lives. But yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to come back to South Africa. Okay,
so guys, you heard it. If we call, he will come. So I urge you to take to the socials immediately. Well, not immediately after the stream is over because we've got a lot of stuff to cover. But as soon as the stream is over, I want you guys to take over socials. Hashtag Comic-Con Africa online. And somewhere in the post, we want Tom Hopper so the people know. Okay, now Tom, the other day, there was something I wanted to discuss with you, but I couldn't get to it, right? Because, again, too many people watching us in the studio. We couldn't have clandestine discussion. You have an upcoming movie there. It is The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, Magnuson. So are you at liberty to talk about any of that? Because I know you guys are soon to be going back to work with that. Can you chat about anything with that?
To a certain degree, yeah. I mean, we've finished a lot of the shooting now. There was a bit of post-production and stuff to do, but I can tell you that it's a lot of fun. If you watch the first movie, it's going to be that and more. It's very action heavy. It's hilarious. The chemistry between Ryan and Samuel L. is phenomenal. Like, they have something really special going on there, and to see that in person, and also all the new characters and amazing talent that is in the movie this time. You know, Antonio Banderas, Morgan Freeman. You know, I was honestly, like, it was one of those moments that I had to pinch myself when I was on set with these people because, you know, I've grown up and still watch these people now, and I'm in awe of them on the screen. And, you know, imagine watching, you know, Samuel L. Jackson and Pulp Fiction and stuff as a kid, being completely in awe, and then being on set with him opposite him in a scene. It was like, this is just bizarre for me. So yeah, really had to pinch myself through that experience, but I adored it, man. I had a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun, that movie. I'm looking forward for everyone to watch it. It's a shame again that, you know, COVID slowed down the release, but it will have a big release and stuff next year.
I'm really looking forward to that. Now, you know, the way you discussed it, for those of you just joining us, like I said, I'm having a top secret chat with Tom Hopper. It is so clandestine, we couldn't even put lights in this particular studio here. That's how clandestine. You just see random people here. It's me, don't be afraid, right? It's not the boogeyman or anything.
You recognize his voice, folks. Come on, his voice is the same guy.
Well,
you look like some super villain or something that is being hidden in the background.
Top secret, yeah, top secret, you know, top secret.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom, what is really, really, you know, part of your charm as a performer, and obviously it translates into the characters that you play, is the fact that you are actually a fan of the material itself. Because when I listen to you talking about now your experience, excuse me, this very, very dusty area here, your experience of there now on set with Morgan Freeman, Ryan Reynolds and the like, you know, you speak of it from the perspective, not as yeah, it's another day at the office, but really as a fan, that passion comes through. So from when it comes to approaching your work and the roles that you take and this and that, how much of fandom comes through in that with you?
In a lot of ways, a lot, because for me as well, it's so important to please the fans. You know, when there's existing material in a lot of the things that I've done, you know, like with Black Sails, it came from Treasure Island, and the people have an expectation of what Billy Bones was going to be like, what that journey is going to be like for him, to become that guy in the book, the Billy Bones they know in the book. So there was a responsibility there, you know, to make sure that you uphold an expectation of a fandom. And that very much came into play for Umbrella Academy, because I knew that Umbrella Academy had this existing following, and they were very, very passionate and vocal about it and what they expected from it. So when I started reading the comics, I became a fan of the comics as I was reading the TV script. So I came across the comics and was like, oh my God, this material is so rich. I've never come across superheroes like this concept like this before. And that was extremely appealing to me. But then I had I felt a huge responsibility to make sure, no matter what I did with Luther or Space Boy from the comics, that there were qualities that I really drew from the comic and brought into the character. Because if I didn't hit that note, then the last thing I would have wanted was fans to go, yeah, but you know, he's just not what he is in the comic book. He hasn't kind of hit a lot of those nuances. So for me, it's really important that I recognize what the fans like, you know, before I play the character. You know, I recognize where fans will appreciate it or not. And you know, there's a movie franchise that I'm joining soon, which I can't talk about yet, unfortunately. Sorry. But I'm joining a movie franchise where there is again a huge responsibility on that. So every time I do that, it becomes a huge part of my preparation for a role. Really, I'm aware of those things.
No, I mean, that's epic. That's epic. Now, obviously, when you look at the graphic novel series, the comic book was later translated into graphic novel, The Umbrella Academy. There are obviously some departures from the comic books over to, you know, what you guys created in the series. But like you said, you know, you guys hit the notes in terms of the characters of there. And especially when it comes to Luther/Space Boy, depending on where your fandom starts, you know, he's battled to get to grips with the fact that everything he was primed to be his whole childhood isn't necessarily who he is or is destined to be right now. And, you know, I want to go back to season 1, because, again, I worry that some people, like Robbie yesterday, hadn't watched season 2 as yet. So just to give them the pleasure of enjoying the season in its entirety with all the plot twists and all that, there was a scene there when Luther realizes that actually between Pogo and Reginald, all the mission reports that he had and all the sample extracts that he had sent down from the moon, you know, that actually all of that was for nothing. It was actually Reginald just trying to hide him. You know, that was the underlying theme of him being sent to space. So his entire identity as Space Boy, that's the first point that, you know, sort of gets crushed over there. But that's the story. But the way you portray that, because that you went through, to my mind, and as a fan and as somebody who experienced the material, you went through all 7 stages of grief. Well, not all of them, but you went through most of the stages of grief, you know, in that this thing. But it was a scene where you couldn't talk about it. It was all captured here in your face, in your expressions, and this and that. So what was that experience like for you? Was that a challenge for you to bring across, or was it just like, it's not a day at the office, I'm Tom freaking Hopper, man? You know? Tell me about that.
No day on set is that. Yeah, I always find I have to work incredibly hard to make sure a performance is there. You know, nothing's phoned in, that's for sure. It's a hugely poignant scene for Luther, because it kind of sets up the journey for him through the rest of that season and kind of his into season 2 really, and the development of his character through that. But yeah, that was something that I talked to Steve Blackman about a lot, the showrunner, and made sure that I was hitting all the notes. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, I went pretty deep on thinking what it must be like to be away doing a job on your own, being completely isolated for that amount of time, thinking that your whole life's purpose is for one single thing, and you've been bred for a single purpose. Your entire existence is for that. And then it's all for nothing, and how I would feel. And I always go inside, I always go into how I would feel and then bring it out into the character, because it has to be, I personally, for me, like my process is in those scenarios is I have to relate to me first, because I can't just pick it out of nowhere for Luther. I have to go how I would feel to be able to make it real for him. So yeah, you go deep in those scenarios, you know, like I've had other performances like that before when I've gone to very dark places, you know, in times like that to draw out a performance. And but that's what you do as an actor. I think sometimes you have to let go of any restraints you might have, like mental restraints, and kind of go deep within what you feel about things and connect in here, because otherwise it's not real. And you know, and I think the audiences nowadays are very intelligent, and they see when a performance isn't authentic and the actor isn't really feeling it, and that's important for me, you know.
Well, you know, speaking as a member of the audience, once again, you know, I commend you for that, because again, it translates into your work. I mean, even in one of your other roles, and I mean, obviously with all the media attention on Umbrella Academy and your upcoming film, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, you know, people tend to forget about, well, not forget about, but rather not talk about other roles as much, such as Dickon, you know, and with that one there, I find that role of there is such a contrast to, for example, Spaceball, because there with Dickon, he is the pride and joy of his father, you know, I mean, compare him to his brother Samuel Talley, you know, Dickon is the guy for his dad. And then there's obviously a certain way in which you carry that, you know? And that character, at least the way I experienced that character, was there's this guy who's somewhat self-assured, you know, because he's got his family name and everything behind him. And the first thing like Bronn and Jamie tell him in that one scene, and again, guys, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones as yet, then this is not spoiler territory. I mean, come on, guys, we'll talk right now. But I mean, when they dismiss him with like, yes, sorry, what was your name again? Dickon, okay, cool. But again, just the way you expressed that, you know, your reaction to that, I was like, is this a candid shot there? Because like there was a genuine look of like, what? You know, and I'm like, man, this man is a gifted performer, because that's how I experienced it. So, you know, again, I commend you for that. But your experience on Game of Thrones, I mean, like Game of Thrones was life-changing for so many people for various different reasons. And no matter where you fall, you know, fans out there in terms of how the ending went, let's put those politics aside. I don't want to see any of that.
Yeah.
Right now, or what happened over here with my new best friend, Tom. By the way, Tom is totally going to accept my friend request on Facebook, right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a Facebook, so I'm not sure. You might have requested a fake account.
We'll roll with it.
Instagram's where I'm at.
Edited post. Okay, so Tom. The experience, you know, the life of Tom Hopper, you balance so much, you juggle so much. There's all of these very deep roles, obviously, that have a lot of, how can I say, you know, a lot of, like you said, you know, personal soul searching that happen there. You're a family man with not one, but two little butterballs, you know, plus you're a traveler and you're a fan, you're a collector, you all of that stuff there. How do you balance it? What is the secret to juggling it all?
Well, there's a few things. Number one, I have an incredible wife. She's extremely supportive of the work I do, and you know, I try and be as supportive to her as a mother and giving her everything she needs to be at her best, you know, so that's a big part of it. Someone said to me fairly recently, which I think is a good way of putting it, like juggling lots of stuff is about thinking about what balls are made of plastic and what balls are made of glass. So if one drops down, you can go, oh, I can pick that up later, and that's okay. But this one I need to keep up all the time because it's going to smash if I don't keep it up there. So there's certain like pillars in my life which I keep at a constant, you know, that I'm always like keeping them up there. And I think it's all about prioritizing at different times. You know, my work, and which comes under a few things like my training, my eating, and my preparation time, those things, they become a priority, and my family life is a priority. So they're the two main things that I just try and work around, and then everything around it, I just like slot in as I can. But prioritizing those things, that's the weird thing, is that when you really throw yourself into the things that are going to further you, so like further you as a person, I mean, spending time with my kids, that's hugely important for me because it betters me as a person. I learn from them. They teach me things that they don't even realize they're teaching me every day. And spending time and quality time with them as much as possible is huge for me. But I believe that, you know, exercise and training and stuff is one thing, and for like my work, but doing it for my health and making sure that the best version of me is always being put out there. Sorry, the sun's coming out here. Then that for me is a priority, because if I'm not putting the best version of myself out there in my work and for my family, then what am I doing? I'm just putting a half-assed version of myself out. So prioritizing health for me is a big factor, and it really comes across in terms of your ability to have a level head when it comes to work and being a father as well. You know, not getting frustrated about those things that sometimes kids can drive you mad. It's about always having a level head, and fitness and health is a huge part of that for me.
You know, that why I asked that is because I think in this brave new world that is this post-COVID world, and I'm saying post-COVID because I'm being positive that a cure is going to be out soon, and you know, you're going to be out over here next year. We're going to be having that snook that we spoke about, and don't worry, Robin, is absolutely going to pay. I will take you for, I'm South African Indian, so I will take you for a specialty we have out here. It's called a bunny chow. You're going to love it, my man. Don't worry, there's no involved.
Amazing.
Do you know what that is at all? Do you have any idea what that is?
I'm not. I may have had it and don't recognize the names. I ate a lot of South African food, but it's South African Indian, is it, that food?
It is, yes, it is. It is, yeah. Okay, so wait, let's just test to be real quick now, right? What if Tom Hopper had to tell us what a bunny chow is? What would Tom Hopper say it is? You know what? We're just hearing it. What do you think it is?
Bunny chow. How do you say it again? Bunny chow.
Bunny. B-U.
Bunny. Like a bunny. Yeah. Bunny chow. I don't know. Is it something with rabbit in it?
Absolutely not. Okay, so let me tell you, it is going to change your life.
Curry? Curry?
It involves curry. So what's going to happen is this. It is a quarter loaf of bread, right? Hollowed out with curry put into that.
Yes, I know about this. Yeah.
Okay, so you're ready for it, right? How do you like your food spicy or mild? Because I'm mild. I'm a counterfeit Indian right here.
Kind of like mild. Medium. Like I like a little bit of a kick, but I don't want to be burning my mouth through the experience.
Then you and I can hang out, Tom. You and I can hang out. I will absolutely.
We can hang. Let's go on a big food tour when I get over there. We'll just do a massive food tour. So you get that part, and then you can come to the gym with me, so we work off all the calories.
Okay, no, it sounds good. It sounds good. As long as there aren't too many sit-ups and stairs, I think I can handle them. But real talk. Why I ask that? The earlier question I asked you about this. How do you process this and that? Because I genuinely believe that in this brave new world and soon to be post-COVID world that we are going to be living in, a lot of people are struggling to figure out, how do I function? How do I all make it all work? And when I have the pleasure and privilege of speaking to people that I admire, especially in terms of their talent and their work ethic, such as yourself, I think I've been very candid about that. I like to know what sort of hacks they have. And what you said is something so simple and straightforward. Just prioritize. Have a list of what's critical, and then juggle the rest of it. Because I think sometimes we fall into the trap of just trying to juggle everything, that we end up dropping inevitably the stuff that matters the most. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think my dad always gave me this great piece of advice. And he said, just always, because it's like you say, things can become like so overwhelming when there's so many things you're having to juggle, or like you think that so many things are affecting your life, and it creates this anxiety, it creates this uncertainty, and you just don't know how to control it all because it feels so out of control. So what my dad always said to me was like, control what you can. What you are in control of, make sure you have complete control of that. And then everything else around it, let it just happen around you. And if it enters your world, okay, fine, take control of it then. But until it does, don't worry about it, leave it there. So for me, the things that I can take control of are things like my fitness, or my eating, my diet, my health, how much time I spend with my family, like the energy that I put into them and myself and my wife, like giving us one-to-one time. Those things I'm completely in control of. Every single day, I make a decision of what I'm going to eat in the morning, what I'm going to eat at lunch, what I'm going to eat at dinner, what time I'm going to train that day, what time I'm going to spend with my kids that day, where I'm going to play with them in the garden, go play football with my daughter in the garden. Those things that I am 100% in control of. COVID entering my life, I'm not in control of that. If that happens, it happens. I deal with it, it happens. Until that day, I don't need to worry about it. I deal with the social elements. I wear a mask when I need to do that. I'm in control of that. But I think there's a huge amount of paranoia and anxiety that's actually fed by the media, unfortunately. And it's like in social media, and we're being overwhelmed by it. And there's no need, because it's not out of our control. Let that happen as it happens. Control what's in your life, and everything else will fall into place, in my opinion.
100%, 100%. Now I know that I've taken up so much of your time in our very quick clandestine interview over here. So I am going to ask the fans out there to take control of one more thing, their journey, to support you on your journey. So real quick right now, if you could help us out, if you could direct the guys, because again, there are some fake Tom Hopper profiles out there, some fake Tom Hopper sites.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you are aware of, but nonetheless, if you could just guide the guys out of here in South Africa as to where to go in order to support you, or continue to support you, in fact, in your journey, this roller coaster of a life that you are leading, where would they go and how would they do that?
Well, the one thing I'm consistent on is Instagram, really, and that's where you can follow what I do on a pretty regular basis, and that's the account is, and it's got the little blue tick thing, so you know it's me. So it's tom.hopperhops. That's my handle, and yeah, on there you can see the kind of things I'm up to and what my family's up to. You know, my family is a huge part of what I put out there about me, because I think it's important that, you know, being authentic in this social media world, you know, my kids are a huge part of that, and they're a huge part of my life. So if I hid them away, I feel like that's not really who I am, and they're a big part of my daily life. So yeah, so Instagram is the one you can follow me on.
100%. Okay, and now I would be remiss in my duty, right? I would be remiss in my duty if I didn't at this point at least try to convince you to do a quick solo concert. Well, not a solo concert, but a quick duet with me. You look like a Backstreet Boys fan.
Yeah, I am a little bit, actually. Yeah, back in the day, yeah, I was, yeah. Why? What are you going to do?
I'll feed you the line. Let's see if we can do it together. Ladies and gentlemen, Zaid Mutara with Tom Hopper here in concert only at Comic-Con Africa online. And hopefully with your support on all the socials, we will get him out of here next year for our shows as well. Tom, take it away after me. You are
my fire, the one desire. Believe me when you said, I don't know if this is right, that I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why. You went with the high one.
You know what we need to do, right? What we're going to need to do is we're going to have band practice, then we're going to go for the snook, then we're going to go to the gym, right? And then after that, I will pass out dead somewhere, right? And then we'll do karaoke. I'll pass out dead somewhere, and then you guys, right, will carry on with the show. Tom Hopper, you are an absolute legend and an inspiration, my friend. And the world is a much better place because of your energy. And here in South Africa, we cannot wait for you to come and visit us.
Bless you, man. Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure for me to talk to you, and I cannot wait to come back to South Africa. I'm such a fan of the place and the people, so thank you. And the food, actually. The food is so good.
Happy to hear it. Happy to hear it. All right, then, my friends. So there you have it, Tom, the legend hopper. I'm not going to lie. As you know, my fanboyness just absolutely came out of there. The man is a myth. He is a legend, and you are going to find him on his socials. And again, be sure to check out all the amazing projects he's working on. The man's career is just, honestly, just magical. And like we were saying in our interview yesterday, the body of work that he's creating, years from now, we're going to look back and we are going to be able to say, as the fans here in Comic-Con Africa, we were a part of that, and that is truly magical. Enjoy the rest of the show. Okay, 100%, and then they'll cut from there, right? Tom, thank you so much. Dan, on the back end of it, thank you so much. You guys are absolute legends. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. And
it's been great, man. Thank you for the chats. Loved it. Thanks so much, brother. Appreciate it.
Okay, looking forward to it. We'll see you in South Africa. Bye.
Yeah, can't wait to hang out, man. It'll be great.
Looking forward to it. Okay, stay safe.
All right, brother. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.